The retrograde of Jupiter from November 11, 2025 to March 11, 2026 marks one of the most significant astrological phases of this period. During this time, Jupiter will begin its retrograde motion in Cancer, its sign of exaltation, and gradually move backward into Gemini, where it will eventually turn direct. This 4-month cycle will be one of introspection, philosophical reevaluation, and realignment of our beliefs and emotional priorities. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. Jupiter, known as Guru or the Divine Teacher, governs our higher mind, ethics, optimism, faith, and long-term vision. When it retrogrades, the external flow of expansion turns inward, prompting us to examine what truly holds meaning in our lives and how aligned we are with our personal truths. When Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer, its exalted position intensifies the emotional and spiritual tone of reflection. Cancer represents the emotional body, home, and inner security, while Jupiter symbolizes wisdom and understanding. Together, this combination invites deep inner healing and emotional cleansing. We may find ourselves questioning the foundations of our security, our relationships, family ties, and emotional attachments. The need for emotional honesty becomes unavoidable, and unresolved issues from the past can resurface for closure. This is a period when we become more introspective about our nurturing tendencies, how much we give, why we give, and whether we do so from genuine compassion or emotional obligation. The retrograde energy of Jupiter often slows down outer progress to help us refine wisdom, and in Cancer, it teaches that true abundance begins with emotional balance and empathy. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, shifting the focus from emotional introspection to intellectual clarity. Gemini, an air sign ruled by Mercury, governs communication, learning, and adaptability. Once Jupiter moves into this dual sign, the introspective tone continues but takes on a mental and analytical form. The collective mind begins to question previously accepted ideas, systems, and beliefs. It is a time of review and reorganization of information, rethinking our educational paths, communication methods, and the way we express our philosophies. The retrograde Jupiter in Gemini urges us to listen before speaking, learn before teaching, and question before believing. It can expose misinformation, false ideologies, or superficial understandings that need to be revised before moving forward when Jupiter turns direct in March 2026. From Cancer, Jupiter's retrograde aspects, especially its 5th, 7th, and 9th aspects, fall upon Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. This configuration creates a deep and contemplative energy influencing transformation, responsibility, and spirituality. Scorpio's mysteries and Capricorn's ambitions come under review, while Pisces, ruled by Jupiter itself, becomes a zone of deep spiritual reassessment. Since Saturn is retrograding in Pisces during this time, turning direct on November 28, 2025, the mutual influence between Jupiter and Saturn creates a powerful karmic tone. This alignment suggests a global atmosphere of moral questioning, where society reevaluates ethical frameworks, spiritual values, and emotional integrity. The interplay between Jupiter's emotional depth and Saturn's realism may create tension between faith and practicality, but ultimately it helps individuals find balance between idealism and discipline. Rahu's ongoing transit in Aquarius and Ketu's presence in Leo further complicate and enrich the spiritual landscape. While Rahu in Aquarius drives collective curiosity about innovation, technology, and social progress, Jupiter's retrograde from Cancer to Gemini grounds this restless mental energy by bringing moral and philosophical perspective. The 9th aspect of Jupiter from Gemini will fall directly on Aquarius, highlighting the need for ethical use of technology, collective intelligence, and humanitarian ideas. This is a time when humanity may re-examine the purpose of knowledge itself, whether it uplifts or divides. Meanwhile, Ketu in Leo fosters humility and detachment from ego-driven ambitions, aligning with Jupiter's retrograde mission of inner purification. Together, these planetary energies encourage us to replace self-centered desires with service-oriented wisdom. Retrogrades, in astrology, are never times of regression in a negative sense. Rather, they are opportunities for revision and refinement. Jupiter retrograde specifically represents a spiritual inward journey where one's faith is tested, but in doing so, it strengthens. During these months, people might find that outer expansion, career growth, travel, or educational advancement slows down, but their inner world becomes richer and more insightful. This is an ideal period for spiritual study, meditation, or revisiting philosophical or religious teachings with a mature perspective. Many individuals could reconnect with teachers, mentors, or past belief systems, only to reinterpret them in light of new understanding. By the time Jupiter turns direct in Gemini on March 11, 2026, clarity begins to return. The lessons learned during the retrograde will have refined how we think, communicate, and share our wisdom. We emerge more adaptable, thoughtful, and aware of the power of ideas. The following months leading to June 2, 2026, when Jupiter re-enters Cancer, will feel like the gradual rebuilding of confidence and optimism after a deep inner cleansing. As Jupiter resumes its exalted position, the clarity gained from the retrograde period will become the foundation for new beginnings, more emotionally mature relationships, and wiser choices. On a global level, Jupiter's retrograde through these sensitive signs may coincide with a collective re-evaluation of information systems, education, and emotional health. There may be philosophical debates about morality in technology, governance, and spirituality. Environmental awareness could grow stronger, as Cancer and Pisces both emphasize preservation, empathy, and compassion for life. Countries and leaders may face moral crossroads, whether to choose integrity or convenience. Humanity as a whole may feel a call to return to truth, empathy, and understanding amid increasing intellectual noise. Overall, the Jupiter retrograde from November 2025 to March 2026 is not merely a backward motion, it is a sacred pause. It asks each of us to slow down, to listen deeply, and to reconnect with our inner teacher. Jupiter is the planet of knowledge and wisdom. Wherever it transits, by house or over any planet, it brings awareness and understanding related to that area. For example, if Jupiter transits over the Moon, it can deepen your emotional intelligence and inner peace. Over Venus, it may bring insights into relationships and creativity. In the 10th house, it can give you clarity about career and life direction. Wherever Jupiter goes, it brings growth in knowledge and wisdom. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current Dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Jupiter's Ashtaka Varga score in Cancer and Gemini. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Jupiter's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Jupiter Dasha or Jupiter return may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Jupiter rules the 9th and 12th houses, two of the most spiritual and expansive areas of the chart. The 9th house governs higher learning, dharma, luck, divine grace, and one's belief system, while the 12th house deals with spirituality, sleep, foreign lands, subconscious patterns, and liberation. When Jupiter retrogrades between November 2025 and March 2026, moving from Cancer, your 4th house, back into Gemini, your 3rd house, it initiates a deeply reflective journey for Aries individuals. At the start of the retrograde, on November 11, 2025, Jupiter is positioned in Cancer, its sign of exaltation, and your 4th house of home, family, emotional comfort, and inner peace. In this position, Jupiter usually blesses Aries individuals with a strong sense of security, emotional healing, and domestic harmony. Many may experience a desire to reconnect with their roots, improve their living environment, or find inner stability through spiritual or emotional awareness. As Jupiter begins its retrograde motion here, this outer sense of stability may temporarily feel uncertain or paused. The universe is urging you to look inward, to examine what truly makes you feel secure and fulfilled. Emotional matters connected to family, home, or mother figures could resurface, asking for resolution. You may begin to recognize that emotional peace is not about external conditions but rather about your mindset. Jupiter retrograding in your 4th house may lead you to reevaluate your relationship with family members, ancestral values, or even your living situation. Old memories or unresolved emotional baggage can resurface for healing. For some Aries individuals, this may be a time when you feel drawn to spend more time alone, reflecting on your emotional health or reconnecting with spiritual practices that bring comfort. Since Jupiter is also the ruler of your 12th house, this period has a distinctly meditative and introspective tone. It is ideal for inner work, journaling, and exploring the deeper emotional or psychological patterns that influence your behavior. As Jupiter retrogrades, it casts its 5th aspect on Scorpio, the 8th house, which governs transformation, secrets, and emotional intensity. This aspect suggests that certain hidden truths may emerge, leading to emotional revelations. You might uncover something about your own motivations or subconscious fears that were previously suppressed. Jupiter's 7th aspect from Cancer falls on Capricorn, your 10th house of career and public image, indicating a temporary reassessment of professional direction or work-life balance. The retrograde may not block growth, but it may ask you to slow down, reflect, and re-strategize before making major professional decisions. Its 9th aspect on Pisces, your 12th house, intensifies your spiritual inclinations, drawing you towards solitude, meditation, and spiritual insight. It's as though your outer achievements are being temporarily placed on hold so that you can rediscover your inner purpose. Meanwhile, Saturn continues to retrograde in Pisces, your 12th house, until November 28, 2025, when it turns direct. This alignment between Jupiter and Saturn, two major teachers, will create a powerful introspective phase for Aries individuals. Both planets activate the introspective zones of your chart, emphasizing inner clarity, karmic release, and spiritual cleansing. You may feel detached from worldly matters for a while, preferring solitude or needing rest. If you have been overextending yourself emotionally or professionally, this period allows for necessary withdrawal and self-repair. Once Saturn turns direct, you will slowly begin to regain control over your routine and inner focus, but Jupiter's retrograde will still keep the emphasis on emotional reflection. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter moves back into Gemini, your 3rd house of communication, courage, siblings, and personal initiative. This transition marks a significant shift from the emotional to the intellectual area. As Jupiter retraces its steps into Gemini, your thoughts become more analytical, and your curiosity awakens. Because the planet is retrograde, it's not yet a time for bold action. Rather, it's a time to refine how you communicate, plan, and express your ideas. You may feel drawn to reconnect with siblings or childhood friends, revisit old projects, or reevaluate the way you present your knowledge and beliefs. The 3rd house is also about courage and self-effort, and Jupiter's retrograde here suggests that you may need to rebuild your confidence or clarify your goals before making big moves. It's as though the universe is asking you to pause, gather your thoughts, and make sure your efforts align with your higher truth. As the ruler of your 9th house, Jupiter's presence here redefines your worldview, perhaps through learning, revisiting old studies, or questioning long-held beliefs. You may rediscover a skill, hobby, or talent you once loved but left behind. Writing, teaching, public speaking, or learning new technologies may become part of your journey during this phase. From Gemini, Jupiter's aspects will influence Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. Its 5th aspect on Libra, your 7th house, will shine a reflective light on partnerships and communication within relationships. You may need to have important conversations with your partner or revisit old misunderstandings to restore harmony. The 7th aspect on Sagittarius, your 9th house, reawakens your philosophical curiosity. This is an excellent period for exploring new ideas, revisiting spiritual or religious teachings, or reconnecting with mentors who can guide your growth. Finally, Jupiter's 9th aspect on Aquarius, your 11th house, brings focus to friendships, long-term goals, and your connection to communities or organizations. Rahu's presence in Aquarius intensifies this energy, making you question your social environment and whether your associations truly align with your ideals. When Jupiter turns direct in Gemini on March 11, 2026, a sense of clarity and purpose begins to return. Your mind feels lighter, and decisions that seemed confusing during the retrograde phase start to make sense. You'll begin to communicate your ideas more effectively, perhaps gaining renewed interest in writing, networking, or public speaking. As Jupiter continues to move forward toward Cancer, plans that were delayed earlier begin to show progress. By June 2, 2026, when Jupiter re-enters Cancer and resumes direct motion, emotional clarity and domestic stability return. It's as though the lessons learned during the retrograde period in Gemini give you the mental structure to support emotional peace when Jupiter returns to the 4th house. The overall essence of this Jupiter retrograde period for Aries is self-realignment, a deep inner check-in about what truly nourishes you emotionally and intellectually. Early on, it asks you to revisit your inner foundations, your family dynamics, sense of belonging, and emotional security. Later, it shifts focus to your mental world, your communication, learning style, and confidence in expressing yourself. This period will remind you that true growth is not always about moving forward in the outer world but sometimes about moving inward to reconnect with your authentic values. By the time Jupiter re-enters Cancer in June 2026, you will have a stronger foundation, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, to build upon. This journey from the emotional to the intellectual and back to the emotional again is designed to make you whole. For Aries individuals, this is not a time to rush or force outcomes but to embrace introspection, refine communication, and deepen your sense of inner peace. For Taurus, the retrograde journey of Jupiter between Gemini and Cancer from late 2025 to mid-2026 is a major turning point for communication, finances, relationships, and overall life direction. Jupiter, as the ruler of your 8th and 11th houses, represents transformation, shared wealth, long-term gains, ambitions, and social networks. Its retrograde motion through the 3rd and 2nd houses will urge you to reevaluate your speech, decisions, financial strategies, and the way you interact with others. When Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer on November 11, 2025, its influence over your 3rd house will emphasize communication, courage, writing, media work, and relations with siblings. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted and full of wisdom, but since it is retrograde, its energy turns inward, leading to self-analysis about how you express your ideas and pursue goals. You may become more reflective and philosophical about your efforts, questioning whether your daily actions align with your long-term dreams. This period can inspire you to learn something new, perhaps through writing, teaching, or developing a unique skill that could later boost your career. It's a time when you may reconnect with siblings or neighbors, resolving misunderstandings or strengthening emotional bonds. Jupiter's exaltation helps you express yourself with empathy and wisdom, but the retrograde motion reminds you to listen as much as you speak. The lessons of communication are mutual during this phase. From Cancer, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, your 7th house, Capricorn, your 9th house, and Pisces, your 11th house. This trinal influence activates your relationships, destiny, and social networks. Its aspect on the 7th house enhances partnerships, both personal and professional, though retrograde motion may bring the reappearance of old connections or a reassessment of relationship priorities. Some Taurus individuals may reconnect with an old partner, or business alliances that were on hold could resume with new understanding. Jupiter's aspect on the 9th house Capricorn revives your sense of purpose and faith, encouraging travel, higher studies, or reconnecting with a mentor who inspires you. Meanwhile, its aspect on Pisces, your 11th house, is extremely beneficial for expanding your social reach and professional networks. Friends and acquaintances may become gateways to future opportunities, and some past associations may return in a more meaningful way. As Jupiter moves back into Gemini on December 5, 2025, your focus turns toward financial security and personal values. This is your 2nd house of wealth, savings, speech, and family lineage. Retrograde Jupiter here can bring both blessings and lessons regarding how you manage money and how you define prosperity. You might reevaluate your sources of income, reconsider a business partnership, or revisit old financial plans that need restructuring. While some delays in financial gains could occur initially, Jupiter's intention here is to bring awareness about long-term stability rather than quick rewards. You might find that some outdated financial strategies no longer serve your current reality, prompting a shift toward more sustainable earning methods. Jupiter's retrogression through the 2nd house also encourages you to be mindful of speech and the impact of your words. Communication can become a key theme, and your opinions might carry more influence than you realize. This is an excellent time to engage in teaching, writing, or public speaking, provided you remain patient and thoughtful. Emotionally, you may feel more attached to your family and traditions, reflecting on the values passed down through generations. Old family issues might resurface, but they can now be healed with wisdom and maturity. From Gemini, Jupiter aspects Libra, your 6th house, Sagittarius, your 8th house, and Aquarius, your 10th house. This triad activates your health, transformation, and career sectors. Its aspect on Libra helps in resolving workplace conflicts, promoting cooperation with colleagues, and improving your overall work-life balance. Health issues such as stress or overexertion could demand your attention. This is a reminder to prioritize self-care. The aspect on Sagittarius highlights psychological growth and shared resources. You may explore topics related to joint finances, investments, or deeper emotional intimacy in relationships. Meanwhile, Jupiter's aspect on Aquarius energizes your 10th house of career and recognition. Combined with Rahu's presence there, you may experience both ambitious expansion and unpredictability in professional life. Opportunities for growth are present, but you'll need to remain grounded to avoid overextending yourself. When Jupiter turns direct on March 11, 2026, the fog lifts and financial progress starts to manifest. Investments made earlier could begin to show returns, and your confidence in financial and professional decisions increases. Your communication skills also strengthen, helping you negotiate more effectively or express ideas with greater clarity. Family relations that felt tense during the retrograde phase begin to heal, and the sense of emotional security gradually returns. Jupiter's direct motion brings recognition for your hard work, and if you've been working on writing, publishing, or educational pursuits, significant success may arrive around this time. By June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer, returning to your 3rd house in exaltation. This transition marks a powerful and optimistic shift, ushering in a time of growth and self-confidence. You will feel more inspired to take bold steps, initiate new ventures, and connect with people who share your goals. Jupiter here enhances courage and intellect, helping you turn ideas into practical achievements. Communication becomes your greatest strength. Whether in business, writing, or media-related work, your voice can have a strong impact. The lessons you learned during the retrograde period about patience, planning, and mindful speech will now yield tangible rewards. Saturn's role in this period is equally significant. Saturn continues its retrograde in Pisces until November 28, 2025, after which it turns direct. As the ruler of your 9th and 10th houses, Saturn will test your persistence and sense of direction but ultimately stabilize your professional and spiritual growth. You may need to work harder to communicate effectively or maintain discipline in studies and travel plans, but Saturn ensures that the results are lasting once achieved. Meanwhile, Rahu's transit in Aquarius, your 10th house, driving ambition and hunger for success. While this can bring rapid professional progress, it can also tempt you toward overwork or unrealistic expectations. Jupiter's aspect on Aquarius from Gemini will temper Rahu's influence by encouraging ethical decision-making and grounded ambition. Overall, for Taurus individuals, Jupiter's retrograde through Gemini and Cancer is a cycle of financial wisdom, improved communication, and spiritual clarity. The months between November 2025 and June 2026 highlight self-expression, family values, and the realization that true prosperity lies not only in material wealth but also in emotional and intellectual richness. By the time Jupiter returns to exaltation in Cancer, you'll have redefined what security and success mean to you, grounded not in fear or competition, but in faith, purpose, and wise communication. For Gemini, the upcoming Jupiter retrograde from November 11, 2025 to March 11, 2026 will be one of the most transformative phases in recent years, bringing profound changes in self-development, career direction, relationships, and overall life purpose. Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, expansion, and divine grace, rules your 7th house of partnerships and 10th house of career. Its movement through your 2nd house, Cancer, and 1st house, Gemini, during retrograde signifies a deep inner and outer reevaluation of what truly matters, your sense of identity, how you express yourself in the world, your values, and the partnerships or professional paths you invest in. When Jupiter begins its retrograde motion on November 11, 2025, in Cancer, it does so from your 2nd house, a position of exaltation and great power. The 2nd house governs family, speech, income, self-worth, and values. In this exalted sign, Jupiter initially strengthens your ability to manifest financial stability and harmony in family matters. You may experience a sense of emotional nourishment through your loved ones or renewed inspiration to create a stable foundation for the future. As Jupiter turns retrograde, its energy shifts inward, prompting you to re-examine your financial strategies and how your values align with your life goals. Some Gemini individuals may realize that their current professional direction is not emotionally fulfilling or that they have been compromising their authenticity to maintain security. Jupiter here can bring blessings disguised as lessons. You may temporarily face fluctuations in income or family expectations, but these will help you reassess what you truly desire from life. The presence of Saturn retrograde in Pisces during this time adds another layer of introspection. Saturn in your 10th house governs career, public image, and long-term goals. Since Saturn will turn direct on November 28, 2025, this period between early November and late November will feel like an astrological reset. You will notice a push-pull energy between ambition and emotional comfort, between external success and inner peace. Saturn's direct motion will then encourage you to act on that realization. This period could also bring karmic developments related to authority figures, business contracts, or old commitments that now require renegotiation. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, your own sign and first house. This shift marks a turning point in self-awareness and personal reinvention. When Jupiter transits your first house, it shines a spotlight on your personality, vision, and path forward, but during retrograde, this light turns inward. You may experience moments of deep contemplation about your identity, purpose, and relationships. Jupiter being the ruler of your 7th house, partnerships, and 10th house, career, in your first house means your decisions during this time will have long-term consequences for both personal and professional life. You may revisit old partnerships, reconsider marriage or business alliances, or feel drawn to mentors and spiritual teachers who help you redefine your path. For some Gemini individuals, this retrograde can feel like a pause in progress, yet it is actually a preparation period before major external success unfolds after March 2026. From Gemini, Jupiter aspects Libra, 5th house, Sagittarius, 7th house, and Aquarius, 9th house, 3 air and fire signs that emphasize learning, relationships, and higher truth. These aspects can reignite your curiosity for knowledge and travel, inspire new teaching or creative ventures, and even rekindle romance or intellectual partnerships. Those in academia, media, publishing, or technology could benefit greatly from these energies, especially if they embrace innovation and avoid getting stuck in mental overthinking. Spiritually, this transit deepens your philosophical understanding. You may begin to see the bigger picture of why certain people or events entered your life in the last few years. Rahu in Aquarius during this time activates your 9th house of higher learning and destiny, while Ketu in Leo continues to influence your 3rd house of communication and effort. The combination of Jupiter's retrograde in your 1st house and Rahu in your 9th creates a powerful interplay between personal growth and destiny expansion. You may feel torn between practical concerns and idealistic visions, or between your inner truth and societal expectations. The universe may test your faith, yet each challenge pushes you closer to your higher calling. Long-distance travel, foreign connections, or learning new skills could play a vital role in your evolution during this period. Because Rahu amplifies your ambitions, it's essential to stay grounded and not overcommit to unrealistic projects. When Jupiter turns direct on March 11, 2026, in Gemini, clarity begins to return. The fog of confusion that may have lingered since late 2025 starts to lift, and you feel a renewed sense of purpose. Communication becomes your greatest strength, your words inspire others, and opportunities related to writing, teaching, or public speaking begin to open up. Professionally, you might launch a new project, step into a leadership position, or attract collaborations that align more closely with your authentic self. Those who had been reevaluating their relationships may decide to commit more deeply or, conversely, move away from connections that no longer resonate. Finally, on June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer, returning to your 2nd house in exaltation. This time, you step into this energy with greater wisdom and emotional maturity. The lessons learned during retrograde now manifest as tangible growth, financial stability, improved family harmony, and a stronger sense of self-worth. You understand the balance between inner contentment and outer achievement, and you begin to reap the rewards of your patience and introspection. From Cancer, Jupiter will again cast its aspect on Scorpio, 6th house, Capricorn, 8th house, and Pisces, 10th house. This transition encourages practical improvements in health, debt management, and career. You may clear old emotional or financial burdens and strengthen your professional reputation. The combination of Jupiter in exaltation and Saturn in Pisces creates a supportive trine for career growth, steady, realistic, and long-lasting. Overall, This Jupiter retrograde cycle from November 2025 to March 2026 is a profound journey of self-realization for Gemini individuals. It is less about outward expansion and more about rediscovering who you are at your core. Through introspection, realignment, and honest communication, you will emerge more centered, confident, and spiritually attuned. By the time Jupiter returns to exaltation in Cancer in June 2026, you will feel ready to move forward with renewed purpose, knowing exactly what kind of success and relationships are truly meant for you. For Cancer, the Jupiter retrograde phase from November 11, 2025 to March 11, 2026 marks a deeply introspective and spiritually awakening journey. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, higher wisdom, and divine grace, governs your 6th house of daily work, health, and service as well as your 9th house of luck, dharma, and higher learning. Its retrograde movement between your 1st house, Cancer, and 12th house, Gemini, invites you to realign your purpose, strengthen your physical and emotional health, and reconnect with your spiritual truth. As Jupiter travels through these sensitive zones of your chart, your self-image and your subconscious, this period becomes one of rediscovery, renewal, and release. When Jupiter begins its retrograde on November 11, 2025, it will be exalted in your 1st house, blessing you with great potential for growth and insight. This is a rare and auspicious position, as Jupiter feels supremely comfortable in Cancer, a sign ruled by the nurturing moon. Initially, you may feel a surge of optimism, self-confidence, and divine support. As Jupiter slows and turns retrograde, the focus gradually shifts from external progress to inner realization. The 1st house represents your personality, body, and how you project yourself into the world. Jupiter retrograde here makes you question your identity, not in a negative sense, but as a process of refining who you truly are beneath your roles and responsibilities. You may reassess your goals, appearance, and even spiritual path. During this phase, there may be subtle confusion about direction or motivation. You might feel the need to pause and evaluate your beliefs or moral compass. Being the 9th lord in your 1st house, Jupiter's retrograde could bring back lessons or teachers from your past who help you realign with your dharma. You may also find yourself revisiting ideas, educational pursuits, or philosophies you once abandoned. Emotionally, this is a period of healing. Jupiter's exaltation in Cancer enhances empathy, forgiveness, and self-love, helping you release old guilt or resentment. It's a time to nurture your inner world rather than chase outer validation. Simultaneously, Saturn retrograde in Pisces, your 9th house of destiny and higher wisdom, will have a strong influence on this phase. Saturn's retrograde brings discipline to your spiritual learning but also delays in external recognition. When Saturn turns direct on November 28, 2025, you'll begin to see gradual clarity in your long-term plans, travel opportunities, or educational growth. Saturn's aspect on your 1st house reminds you that spiritual growth must be grounded in discipline and practicality. You may feel torn between faith and responsibility, but this contrast helps you mature in your beliefs. Jupiter retrograde in your 1st house complements this by asking you to blend emotional intelligence with grounded realism, to embody your wisdom rather than merely preach it. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, your 12th house, a significant and mystical shift. The 12th house governs the subconscious, hidden fears, dreams, isolation, foreign lands, and spiritual liberation. When Jupiter, your 9th lord, moves here, it deepens your spiritual awareness and opens the gates to divine connection. This is a period of introspection, solitude, and surrender. You may feel drawn to meditation, prayer, healing practices, or journeys to distant places, both literal and metaphorical. Jupiter retrograde here also brings unresolved emotional patterns to the surface. Old memories, karmic debts, or unfinished business with people from the past could reappear, allowing you to find closure and forgiveness. From the 12th house, Jupiter aspects Libra, 4th house, Sagittarius, 6th house, and Aquarius, 8th house. These aspects activate the inner dimensions of peace, health, and transformation. You may feel compelled to make changes in your living environment or focus on improving mental health. Issues related to domestic harmony, emotional security, and your daily routine could come into focus. Since Jupiter rules your 6th house, retrograde motion might initially disrupt health routines or work schedules, yet it also brings healing once you introspect and realign. Spiritually, you might uncover the root causes of stress or illness that are tied to emotional suppression or self-neglect. By bringing awareness to these patterns, you open the path to true healing. The presence of Rahu in Aquarius during this time further intensifies your inner growth. Aquarius rules your 8th house of transformation, and Rahu here can stir up hidden desires, fears, or power struggles. Combined with Jupiter retrograding in your 12th, this could make you highly intuitive, even prophetic, but also prone to overthinking or emotional exhaustion. It is important to stay grounded through spiritual discipline rather than escape into fantasy or worry. When Jupiter turns direct on March 11, 2026, in Gemini, clarity begins to emerge from the confusion. After months of inner reflection, you will feel more peaceful and spiritually aligned. Dreams may become prophetic, intuition sharpens, and your faith is renewed. You might reconnect with distant relatives, spiritual mentors, or people from other cultures who help you expand your worldview. For some, foreign travel or relocation could materialize after this point, especially if your chart supports it. Your emotional resilience grows stronger, and you'll notice that situations that once caused anxiety now feel lighter, as Jupiter's wisdom helps you transcend fear. As Jupiter moves forward and re-enters Cancer on June 2, 2026, you step into a powerful new phase of rebirth. The lessons of solitude, introspection, and surrender learned during its retrograde will now translate into confidence, grace, and external success. Jupiter's exaltation in your 1st house blesses you with renewed optimism, better health, and a radiant presence that draws positive attention. You'll notice that opportunities begin to flow more naturally, your mind becomes calm, decisions clearer, and your sense of purpose stronger. Many Cancer individuals may experience growth in their careers, recognition for their efforts, or significant breakthroughs in their personal life. From Cancer, Jupiter will cast auspicious aspects on Scorpio, 5th house, Capricorn, 7th house, and Pisces, 9th house. These influences strengthen creativity, relationships, and higher learning. Romantic and family life can flourish as mutual understanding deepens. Professionally, Jupiter's aspect on the 7th house brings new collaborations and partnerships built on shared values. Its connection to the 9th house revitalizes faith, travel, and academic success. The combination of Jupiter in exaltation and Saturn in Pisces, forming a harmonious trine, enhances your ability to blend wisdom with practicality, ideal for long-term stability and spiritual maturity. Overall, this Jupiter retrograde period is not merely about external results but about profound inner cleansing and transformation. For Cancer individuals, it will test your ability to trust divine timing, balance emotion with wisdom, and find peace in solitude. While there may be moments of uncertainty, especially when Jupiter traverses your 12th house, these experiences are necessary for emotional and spiritual renewal. You are being prepared for a powerful new cycle of expansion when Jupiter returns to Cancer in mid-2026. For Leo, the Jupiter retrograde period from November 11, 2025 to March 11, 2026 will be a deeply introspective and transformative cycle that unfolds in subtle yet powerful ways. Jupiter, the planet of divine wisdom, fortune, and higher knowledge, rules your 5th house of creativity, intelligence, children, and past life merit, as well as your 8th house of transformation, hidden truths, and longevity. Its retrograde motion through your 12th house, Cancer, and 11th house, Gemini, brings a period of soul cleansing, karmic release, and reevaluation of goals, friendships, and aspirations. When Jupiter begins its retrograde on November 11, 2025, it will be exalted in your 12th house of Cancer, a position that amplifies its spiritual dimension. The 12th house governs solitude, dreams, foreign lands, hidden emotions, and subconscious healing. Jupiter in exaltation here symbolizes divine protection even amid uncertainty. Initially, you might feel called toward introspection or solitude, craving distance from noise and worldly concerns. Your intuition heightens, dreams become vivid, and your inner voice grows stronger. As Jupiter turns retrograde, this spiritual pull intensifies, and you may find yourself questioning what you truly believe in, what you're holding onto emotionally, and what needs to be released. Because Jupiter also rules your 8th house, this retrograde can bring karmic issues to the surface. Old wounds, secrets, or unfinished emotional matters may resurface, not to disturb your peace, but to help you find closure. You might discover truths about relationships, your past, or even subconscious fears that have been shaping your life choices. The exalted Jupiter, though retrograde, acts as a gentle teacher, guiding you toward liberation through understanding. This is a period for deep inner work, therapy, meditation, or any form of spiritual discipline will yield profound healing. Financially, this may not be a time of rapid growth, but it can bring opportunities connected to foreign sources, research, or behind-the-scenes work. Saturn retrograde in Pisces during this time further reinforces the theme of introspection. Pisces is your 8th house, and with Saturn's discipline there, it adds a karmic tone to transformation and healing. Saturn turns direct on November 28, 2025, helping you move from emotional confusion to practical wisdom. This combination of Saturn and Jupiter influencing your 8th and 12th houses signals that the universe is pushing you toward deep internal restructuring. You may become more aware of how your fears or hidden habits affect your growth. It's a time to let go of emotional baggage, toxic attachments, or outdated patterns that prevent spiritual evolution. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, your 11th house of gains, friendships, social networks, and ambitions. This shift changes the focus from inner cleansing to rethinking your long-term goals and associations. You may begin to question whether your social circles, friendships, or professional alliances are truly aligned with your higher purpose. Jupiter here encourages you to evaluate whether the people around you uplift or drain you. Old friends or acquaintances may reappear, providing closure or second chances. You might also revisit projects, collaborations, or dreams that were once on hold. From Gemini, Jupiter aspects Libra, 3rd house, Sagittarius, 5th house, and Aquarius, 7th house, an important combination for communication, love, and partnership matters. Its aspect on Libra improves your confidence and courage to express your ideas, making it an ideal time for creative or communicative ventures. The 5th house aspect revives your creative inspiration and could reconnect you with old hobbies, passions, or even romantic interests from the past. Its aspect on the 7th house influences relationships and business partnerships. You may find yourself reflecting on commitments, or the need for balance between giving and receiving. Since Jupiter is retrograde, avoid making hasty promises or entering new agreements until after March 2026. Rahu's transit in Aquarius, your 7th house, intensifies the desire for connection, partnership, and visibility. But because Rahu tends to create illusions, it is vital to discern between genuine opportunities and superficial ones. You may attract new relationships or business collaborations that seem promising but require deeper evaluation. Meanwhile, Ketu in Leo, your 1st house, continues to push you inward. You may feel detached from worldly recognition or struggle to define your identity clearly during this period. This detachment, though uncomfortable, is divinely orchestrated to purify your ego and make you more spiritually aware. It's not a time to chase attention or validation. Rather, it's a time to rediscover your purpose beyond status and success. When Jupiter turns direct on March 11, 2026, in Gemini, clarity gradually returns. The inner confusion or stagnation you may have felt since late 2025 begins to dissolve. Your social life, communication, and network activities gain momentum. You begin to see which dreams are realistic and which must be let go. Career gains and recognition may start to build steadily, especially through communication-related fields, teaching, writing, or public engagements. The people who stay in your life after this period are likely to play supportive roles in your long-term growth. Friendships and collaborations that were strained during the retrograde may begin to heal or evolve into more balanced dynamics. Then, on June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer, returning to your 12th house, but this time in direct motion and exaltation, symbolizing a phase of profound peace and spiritual maturity. The lessons of the previous months now bear fruit. Your intuition becomes a guiding force. Dreams and synchronicities provide divine insight. Many Leos may feel drawn toward charitable work, spiritual retreats, or international connections that broaden their understanding of life. Financially, this placement can bring gains through foreign lands or behind-the-scenes efforts, but it also advises mindful spending. You may also experience relief from emotional burdens carried for years. From Cancer, Jupiter aspects Scorpio, 4th house, Capricorn, 6th house, and Pisces, 8th house. These aspects bring stability to domestic life, improve emotional well-being, and help you tackle challenges with renewed strength. Family relationships may heal, and you might move or make changes in your living environment that enhance comfort and peace. The harmony between Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces creates a beautiful trinal energy that supports your spiritual and emotional evolution. You may find that your inner faith now blends effortlessly with disciplined effort, helping you achieve balance between material life and spiritual growth. Overall, The Jupiter retrograde from November 2025 to March 2026 is a profound journey of soul purification and reorientation for Leo individuals. It will reveal hidden dimensions of your psyche, test your emotional strength, and push you to release outdated patterns that no longer serve your highest purpose. You may temporarily withdraw from the spotlight, but this withdrawal is not regression, it's preparation. When Jupiter completes its retrograde journey and returns exalted to Cancer, you will emerge wiser, more intuitive, and deeply attuned to your divine calling. For Virgo, Jupiter's upcoming transit from Gemini to Cancer between late 2025 and mid-2026 is one of the most dynamic and rewarding phases for career advancement, social elevation, and emotional balance. Since Jupiter governs your 4th and 7th houses, it holds immense significance for stability, partnerships, domestic peace, and professional growth. When Jupiter transits your 10th and 11th houses during this period, its influence will strongly manifest through public recognition, professional expansion, and new opportunities to connect with influential people. The year-long journey will unfold in 2 distinct parts, first through the intellectually charged Gemini, your 10th house, and then through its exalted sign Cancer, your 11th house, each carrying deep lessons about responsibility, maturity, and fulfillment. As the transit begins, Jupiter is retrograding in Cancer, your 11th house, from November 11, 2025. This house represents income, social networks, long-term aspirations, and the rewards that come from your persistent efforts. With Jupiter exalted here, Virgo individuals are likely to feel a surge of optimism and confidence about future possibilities. The period is ideal for envisioning bigger goals and expanding your social influence. Because Jupiter is retrograde, this optimism will initially carry a reflective tone. Instead of immediate results, the retrograde phase encourages you to revisit your ambitions, reassess your associations, and question whether your current professional circle aligns with your future vision. Jupiter retrograde in the 11th can also bring reconnections with old friends, mentors, or colleagues who once played a pivotal role in your life. Financially, some pending dues or rewards may get delayed, but this will be temporary, as Jupiter's retrograde motion usually prepares the ground for greater gains later. Then on December 5, 2025, Jupiter will retrograde back into Gemini, your 10th house of career, authority, and professional reputation. This marks a deeply introspective yet significant turning point. The 10th house represents your karma, achievements, and the way society perceives your contributions. Jupiter's return here while retrograde acts like an astrological review session, inviting you to analyze your career path, professional conduct, and leadership style. Some Virgo individuals might revisit old projects, face situations that test their ethical boundaries, or have to take responsibility for past decisions. It's not a time to make impulsive changes but rather to restructure goals with patience. Professionally, you may feel some stagnation or confusion, but behind the scenes, Jupiter is preparing you for a phase of expansion and maturity once it turns direct. Saturn's influence plays an important role in shaping this period. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, your 7th house, and turns direct on November 28, 2025. This means your professional and personal partnerships will simultaneously undergo reevaluation and stabilization. Saturn's energy will demand discipline and accountability, while Jupiter's retrograde energy will ask you to combine wisdom with practical effort. The collaboration between Jupiter and Saturn, your 4th, 7th, and 10th houses, emphasizes the need to balance personal fulfillment with professional responsibilities. During these months, your attitude toward authority and partnerships will evolve. You will learn to build trust and reliability, 2 key ingredients for long-term success. By March 11, 2026, Jupiter will turn direct in Gemini, marking the beginning of a new chapter in your professional life. The fog of uncertainty lifts, and your efforts start gaining visible results. This direct motion restores confidence, clarity, and purpose. Virgo individuals may experience growth in their careers, opportunities for promotion, or recognition for their knowledge and sincerity. Many will find themselves stepping into leadership roles or starting ventures that align with their long-term vision. Jupiter's direct energy also enhances your ability to influence others positively. Your words carry more authority, and people are more receptive to your guidance. The period from March to June 2026 will likely feel like a steady climb toward professional fulfillment after a few months of introspection and adjustment. From the 10th house in Gemini, Jupiter casts its aspects on Libra, 2nd house, Sagittarius, 4th house, and Aquarius, 6th house. This combination strengthens your finances, domestic peace, and partnerships. You may begin earning from new sources or stabilize your income after a fluctuating period. The aspect to Sagittarius brings emotional grounding and family harmony, while the aspect to Aquarius harmonizes relationships and business collaborations. Your professional network expands, and your communication skills become your greatest asset. Jupiter's influence in Gemini enhances intellect, adaptability, and versatility, which help Virgo individuals navigate complex professional dynamics with ease. Then on June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer, its exaltation sign, moving into your 11th house once again. This is when the rewards begin to materialize in a powerful and tangible way. All the patience and effort invested during Jupiter's retrograde and direct phases will now yield results. The 11th house governs your achievements, aspirations, and social recognition, and with Jupiter exalted here, you're poised for success. Financially, this phase promises abundance. Bonuses, increments, or business expansion are likely. You may find yourself working with influential people or attracting mentors who open new doors for you. Your reputation grows, and others recognize your commitment and integrity. Saturn in Pisces continues to emphasize relationships and business partnerships. As Saturn moves direct, it stabilizes collaborations, ensuring that the connections you form during this time are long-lasting and rooted in mutual respect. Meanwhile, Rahu transiting Aquarius, your 6th house, and Ketu in Leo, your 12th house, create a karmic axis that teaches balance between service and surrender. Rahu in the 6th gives you determination to overcome competition, rise above workplace politics, and establish authority. It enhances your problem-solving ability and competitive spirit. Ketu in the 12th pushes you to maintain spiritual detachment, ensuring that you don't get consumed by material ambition. Together, they remind you that success should be purposeful, not exhausting. This entire Jupiter transit cycle will help Virgo individuals merge practicality with idealism. You'll likely step into roles that require wisdom, diplomacy, and compassion, qualities Jupiter naturally blesses. Emotional intelligence will become as important as technical skill. You may also find yourself mentoring others or working for causes that uplift people around you. Home and career will both evolve in parallel, and your inner peace will depend on how well you balance personal satisfaction with professional ambition. By the time Jupiter completes its journey through Cancer, many Virgo individuals will find themselves standing at a new peak of accomplishment. The combination of Jupiter's exalted grace and Saturn's grounding influence ensures sustainable growth rather than fleeting success. The lessons learned during Jupiter's retrograde, about patience, humility, and divine timing, will prepare you for long-term prosperity. Whether in career, family life, or inner development, Jupiter's blessings will ensure that you not only rise but also evolve into a wiser, more fulfilled version of yourself. For Libra, Jupiter's retrograde phase from November 2025 to March 2026 marks a period of deep introspection and spiritual reorientation that will eventually lead to profound professional and moral growth. As the ruler of your 3rd and 6th houses, Jupiter governs communication, initiative, service, discipline, and problem-solving abilities. Its retrograde journey through the 10th and 9th houses during this period reveals a powerful transition, from reflecting on your higher beliefs and goals to implementing them in practical, worldly ways. This transit will highlight your approach to career, ethics, public reputation, and your overall sense of purpose, gradually guiding you toward more meaningful achievements as Jupiter prepares to rise in its exaltation sign of Cancer. The phase begins on November 11, 2025, when Jupiter turns retrograde in Cancer, your 10th house of career, authority, and social standing. Cancer is Jupiter's exaltation sign, a placement that brings out the planet's most nurturing and protective qualities. When Jupiter is strong here, it blesses Libra individuals with integrity, wisdom, and the ability to use leadership to inspire and uplift others. Since Jupiter is retrograde, its influence will initially turn inward rather than outward. You may find yourself reassessing your professional direction, asking whether your work truly reflects your values and long-term aspirations. This is not a time to rush into new roles or make impulsive decisions, but rather to evaluate the deeper purpose behind your ambitions. You might also feel the need to correct past career choices, redefine your goals, or revisit professional strategies that once seemed successful but now feel outdated. During this retrograde motion, Jupiter's exalted position still provides protection, ensuring that any challenges or delays serve as opportunities for introspection rather than losses. It's a time when your moral compass becomes central to your success. Decisions driven by truth and empathy will eventually lead to growth, while shortcuts or manipulative behavior could backfire. Because Jupiter from Cancer aspects Scorpio, 2nd house, Capricorn, 4th house, and Pisces, 6th house, this retrograde phase will emphasize financial restructuring, emotional balance at home, and the resolution of workplace or health matters. You may feel an inner urge to redefine what security truly means, not just in material terms, but in emotional and spiritual dimensions too. As Saturn continues to retrograde in Pisces, your 6th house, until November 28, 2025, there is a dual focus on duty and perseverance. Both Jupiter and Saturn influence the work-oriented houses of your chart, the 6th and 10th, which means this period demands effort, humility, and accountability. While Saturn's retrograde may have made professional progress feel slow or monotonous, its direct motion by the end of November will bring structure to the lessons Jupiter is unfolding. The collaboration between these two giants encourages you to align professional ambition with daily discipline. Together, they promise stable growth for Libra individuals who are willing to put in consistent effort and uphold their integrity. Then, on December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, your 9th house of higher wisdom, philosophy, and long-distance travel. This shift marks a turning point in the retrograde journey, moving from external accomplishments to inner exploration. The 9th house governs your belief system, moral outlook, and faith in life's greater plan. When Jupiter revisits this house, it asks Libra individuals to question the principles guiding their actions. You may find yourself drawn towards spiritual studies, ancient philosophies, or educational pursuits that reconnect you with meaning and inspiration. Travel plans may get delayed, but the inner journey of reflection and learning becomes more important than physical movement. From Gemini, Jupiter aspects Libra, your 1st house, Sagittarius, 3rd house, and Aquarius, 5th house. This trinal energy opens the mind and expands your intellectual and creative horizons. You may rediscover your passion for communication, teaching, or sharing knowledge. These months favor research, writing, or mentorship roles where your wisdom can positively impact others. The aspect on your 1st house encourages personal growth. You may feel a need to redefine your public identity and how you express your ideas to the world. This is also a time to re-examine your relationship with faith and optimism. If you have recently faced disillusionment or uncertainty, Jupiter's retrograde here can help you rediscover your inner truth and realign your actions with higher purpose. As Jupiter turns direct in Gemini on March 11, 2026, clarity begins to replace confusion. Your philosophical vision and practical planning begin to synchronize. Professionally, projects that were delayed or under revision start gaining momentum. You'll feel more confident in expressing your ideas and pursuing new ventures that align with your evolving worldview. For Libra individuals, this direct phase signifies a period of reawakening. You'll feel ready to step into roles of greater responsibility and leadership, armed with newfound wisdom. Jupiter's direct motion also strengthens your connection with mentors, teachers, or father figures, bringing support and guidance in your path forward. Then, as Jupiter re-enters Cancer on June 2, 2026, the planet regains its exalted strength in your 10th house, signifying one of the most empowering phases of the year. The lessons learned during the retrograde now bear fruit, and the clarity gained earlier translates into tangible success. You may receive promotions, recognition, or opportunities to showcase your leadership abilities. Your professional image strengthens, and others begin to see you as a dependable figure of guidance and inspiration. Because Jupiter is exalted, your actions are guided by compassion and higher ethics rather than ego or competition. The 10th house also represents karma, the legacy you build through your deeds. And with Jupiter here, Libra individuals will be called to lead by example. Meanwhile, Rahu transiting Aquarius and Ketu in Leo continue to play a significant karmic role during this period. Rahu's placement in Aquarius activates your 5th house, urging creative experimentation, intellectual exploration, and bold ideas. It inspires you to think differently, innovate, and take calculated risks, especially in professional projects. Ketu in Leo, your 11th house, teaches detachment from excessive dependence on social validation or external approval. Together, this axis highlights the need to balance ambition with authenticity. You will learn that true progress comes not from competing with others but from staying aligned with your unique path. The interaction between Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu during this period will redefine your worldview. It will teach you to see success not as a measure of status, but as a reflection of integrity and service. The combination of Saturn's discipline in the 6th house, Jupiter's exaltation in the 10th, and Rahu's daring influence in the 5th house can propel Libra individuals toward exceptional achievements. By the time Jupiter settles in Cancer, Libra individuals will have completed a full cycle of learning that blends wisdom with worldly accomplishment. The months of reflection and revaluation during Jupiter's retrograde will yield long-term stability and confidence. By the end of this phase, Libra individuals will find themselves not only elevated in status but also enriched with deeper wisdom, emotional intelligence, and spiritual strength that sustains their progress for years to come. For Scorpio, Jupiter's transit and retrograde journey between Gemini and Cancer from late 2025 to mid-2026 marks a deeply karmic and spiritually charged phase. Jupiter, as the lord of the 2nd and 5th houses, governs wealth, family, values, speech, education, creativity, children, and intelligence. Its movement through the 8th and 9th houses will significantly influence your destiny, belief system, higher learning, and transformation. This phase may unfold as a time of profound internal shifts, spiritual expansion, and renewed faith, especially as Jupiter moves through the exaltation sign Cancer, where its energy is at its most benevolent and protective. As the cycle begins, Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer from November 11, 2025, highlighting your 9th house, the area of higher wisdom, dharma, and luck. This period invites you to revisit your beliefs, philosophies, and life direction. Jupiter's exaltation in Cancer often amplifies your intuitive and spiritual sensitivity, helping you connect with divine guidance. Because it begins in retrograde motion, this introspection will not be immediate expansion. Instead, it calls for internal alignment first. You may feel guided to reevaluate your education goals, spiritual practices, or even your relationship with mentors or father figures. Events during this time might feel fated, drawing you toward people or experiences that broaden your consciousness. Since Jupiter aspects your own sign Scorpio, as well as Capricorn and Pisces from Cancer, this influence will create harmony across emotional, material, and spiritual planes. Its aspect on the 1st house strengthens confidence, vitality, and self-belief, while the aspect on the 3rd house Capricorn enhances communication and willpower. The 5th aspect on Pisces supports emotional healing, creativity, and inspiration, perfect for those in artistic, teaching, or counseling fields. Jupiter's retrogression into Gemini on December 5, 2025, changes the tone entirely. The planet of expansion now moves into your 8th house, a mysterious and intense domain dealing with secrets, transformation, shared resources, and occult knowledge. This is a period where unseen processes shape your destiny. Jupiter in the 8th can bring a mix of endings and beginnings. Old belief systems may collapse, only to be replaced by deeper insights about life and the unseen world. You might find yourself drawn to astrology, psychology, mysticism, or other hidden sciences. Some Scorpio individuals could face sudden changes in joint finances, inheritance, or marital wealth during this time, urging them to adopt patience and prudence. Retrograde Jupiter here suggests that these changes are karmic in nature. They may arise to test your faith or to release attachments that have been holding you back. It's a time to embrace surrender and trust divine timing rather than forcing outcomes. From Gemini, Jupiter aspects Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius, activating the 12th, 2nd, and 4th houses respectively. The aspect on Libra can increase charitable tendencies and spiritual retreats. You may feel a need to isolate from worldly noise to find peace. Its aspect on Sagittarius, your 2nd house, realigns your financial values. You may rethink how you earn, save, or speak about abundance. The aspect on Aquarius, the 4th house, enhances focus on home, property, and emotional stability, though Rahu's presence there may complicate family dynamics or living situations. The influence of Rahu in Aquarius could amplify your desire for change in domestic life or make you chase ambitious property goals, but Jupiter's wisdom helps you navigate these changes without losing balance. When Jupiter turns direct on March 11, 2026, clarity begins to emerge. Hidden truths come to light, helping you make wiser decisions regarding finances, relationships, and your inner healing. The direct motion also helps you regain confidence in your faith and long-term goals. Career matters that were stagnant since late 2025 may now show progress, especially if they involve research, psychology, finance, or consultancy work. Health-wise, the 8th house phase may have brought minor anxiety or hormonal imbalance, But as Jupiter gains direct motion, physical and emotional recovery follows. Those going through therapy or spiritual healing will notice tangible breakthroughs. By June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer and resumes its exalted journey through your 9th house. This marks one of the most auspicious periods in recent years for Scorpio individuals. The energy shifts from hidden transformation to divine expansion. You may receive new opportunities related to foreign travel, higher studies, teaching, or publishing. Many Scorpio individuals could feel a strong call to share their wisdom, teach others, or begin spiritual mentoring. Jupiter in the 9th house restores faith in life's higher plan. What felt uncertain in previous months now becomes clear. This transit also activates your luck and dharma path, helping you align with the purpose you were meant to fulfill. From Cancer, Jupiter's aspects once again bless your sign Scorpio, the 3rd house Capricorn, and the 5th house Pisces. The aspect to your own sign brings renewed vitality and optimism. Your personality becomes magnetic, and others may seek your advice or guidance. The aspect to Capricorn enhances communication skills and courage. This could be a time to express your ideas confidently or start new projects. The aspect on Pisces strengthens romance, creativity, and emotional healing. Those desiring children or planning creative ventures may see significant positive developments. Saturn's role during this phase is equally important. It remains in Pisces, your 5th house, retrograde until November 28, 2025, and then turns direct. Saturn's influence grounds Jupiter's expansive energy, ensuring that your growth is disciplined and practical. The combination of Saturn's realism and Jupiter's optimism can bring long-term progress in education, parenting, or financial planning. It may also test your patience. You may have to work hard to manifest your visions, but the results will be lasting. Rahu's transit in Aquarius continues to influence your 4th house, creating a restlessness about home, emotional comfort, or parental connections. You might crave independence from family expectations or consider relocation. Jupiter's future aspect from Gemini and later from Cancer will help balance these extremes, offering insight into how to create emotional stability without sacrificing personal growth. Overall, for Scorpio individuals, Jupiter's retrograde cycle through Gemini and Cancer is a bridge between deep internal evolution and visible outer success. The initial months emphasize letting go, healing, and exploring the unseen dimensions of life, while the latter half rewards you with wisdom, recognition, and newfound faith. By mid-2026, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more spiritually aligned, with your goals infused with deeper meaning and your heart open to divine guidance. For Sagittarius, Jupiter is the 1st house and the 4th house lord, 2 of the most auspicious houses in astrology, representing the self, emotional security, education, home, and mental peace. As such, every transit of Jupiter becomes highly influential for Sagittarius individuals, shaping their life direction and internal balance. Between November 2025 and June 2026, Jupiter will undergo an important retrograde motion, first in Cancer, the 8th house, its exaltation sign, and then in Gemini, the 7th house. This transit carries themes of transformation, relationships, and personal rebirth, blending deep emotional cleansing with major external shifts. It represents a year where growth comes through emotional depth, partnership dynamics, and learning to navigate uncertainty with faith and wisdom. When Jupiter first begins its retrograde motion in Cancer on November 11, 2025, it activates the 8th house of transformation, longevity, shared resources, hidden matters, and spiritual awakening. Being exalted in Cancer, Jupiter brings a powerful surge of healing and protection in this otherwise mysterious and unpredictable house. Sagittarius individuals may find themselves entering a period of deep introspection, a time to face hidden fears, emotional attachments, or lingering psychological wounds. Jupiter's exaltation here suggests that the native will not be defeated by challenges. Rather, they will emerge wiser and spiritually elevated. The 8th house also governs sudden changes and inheritance-related matters. Some may benefit from joint finances, insurance, or legacy issues, while others could experience inner healing through therapy or meditation. This period might encourage exploring mystical or occult subjects, or diving into astrology, psychology, or healing modalities. Since Jupiter also rules the 1st house, this is a time when Sagittarians could undergo profound inner transformation, reevaluating their life purpose and beliefs. Jupiter's retrograde motion often slows outer progress to deepen inner realization. From November to early December 2025, individuals may feel as though their outer circumstances are in flux. Relationships, finances, or career directions may appear uncertain. But this slowdown is not punishment. It is the universe's way of redirecting focus towards self-understanding and spiritual evolution. As Saturn continues to retrograde in Pisces, the 4th house, during this time and turns direct on November 28, 2025, both major planets emphasize emotional grounding and stability. The Saturn-Jupiter combination subtly teaches Sagittarians to confront emotional patterns rooted in family or early life that influence their sense of security and personal growth. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and public dealings. This marks a significant shift from inner transformation to outer relationships. The 7th house is where we face the mirror of others, and with Jupiter here in retrograde, there could be lessons in how you relate to partners, clients, or the general public. For married or committed Sagittarians, this could be a time of reevaluating the balance of give and take in relationships. Misunderstandings or philosophical differences may arise, prompting deep conversations about values, goals, and emotional needs. Those in business partnerships might need to revisit agreements or re-establish mutual trust. Retrograde Jupiter tends to bring unresolved issues from the past back into focus. It's an opportunity to correct patterns and strengthen important connections rather than abandon them. From Gemini, Jupiter will cast its benefic aspect on Libra, 11th house of gains and aspirations, Sagittarius, 1st house of self, and Aquarius, 3rd house of efforts and communication. These aspects reveal that while partnerships may feel under review, new alliances and collaborations could still emerge. It's a powerful time to reconnect with old friends, networks, or groups who share your vision. Rahu's concurrent transit through Aquarius, the 3rd house, further amplifies courage, communication, and new ventures. Jupiter's aspect there ensures that your ambitions have both direction and divine protection. This is an excellent period for writers, teachers, communicators, or anyone involved in public relations. Rahu may push for bold action, while Jupiter offers ethical grounding and strategic wisdom. During this time, Ketu's transit in Leo, the 9th house, could make Sagittarians question their belief systems and spiritual path. You may detach from old dogmas and seek truth in direct experience rather than inherited doctrines. If you have been clinging to rigid ideologies, Ketu in Leo will humble your ego, guiding you toward experiential wisdom. Jupiter's influence ensures that such detachment leads to liberation, not loss. By March 11, 2026, Jupiter turns direct in Gemini, marking a period of renewed clarity in relationships and partnerships. Agreements that were stalled begin to move forward. Those in business can expect better negotiations, improved contracts, and potential collaboration with influential people. Personal relationships that survive the retrograde turbulence will emerge stronger, grounded in honesty and shared vision. For singles, Jupiter direct could bring opportunities for meaningful connections, possibly through travel, study, or social interactions. It's also a time when public recognition may increase. You might find yourself in leadership or advisory roles where your wisdom and experience benefit others. From the 7th house, Jupiter's direct motion also boosts confidence in handling public matters. Those in professions such as consulting, law, marketing, diplomacy, or social media will notice greater stability and reputation growth. The energy shifts from introspection to active participation in the world. Financially, stability begins to return as Jupiter's aspect on the 11th house strengthens long-term gains and connections with supportive people. Finally, on June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer, returning exalted to your 8th house, but this time in direct motion, marking the true culmination of the deep transformation that began in 2025. The difference now is awareness. You have learned to face emotional depth without fear, to trust in the unseen flow of life, and to align your spiritual understanding with practical wisdom. Jupiter's direct exaltation in the 8th house will bring healing, strength, and divine protection against hidden challenges. Issues that once seemed complex now find resolution through intuition and inner faith. Relationships that survived the retrograde phase may now deepen on a soul level, bringing emotional and even financial support. Overall, Jupiter's retrograde journey from Cancer to Gemini and back again symbolizes a full circle of inner and outer evolution for Sagittarius people. It begins with deep internal reflection and culminates in transformation that enhances wisdom, stability, and emotional strength. The key lesson of this period is to trust timing, to allow spiritual growth to lead worldly success, not the other way around. By the time Jupiter settles exalted in Cancer, Sagittarius individuals will have renewed clarity about their path, stronger relationships, and a deeper connection to their higher self, marking one of the most spiritually empowering chapters in their life. For Capricorn, Jupiter governs the 12th and 3rd houses, representing spirituality, foreign travels, communication, courage, and inner strength. During its retrograde journey from November 2025 to June 2026, Jupiter will move between your 7th house of partnerships and the 6th house of service, work, and competition. This entire phase will deeply influence your relationships, daily responsibilities, and personal growth. It brings both karmic lessons and opportunities for healing, particularly in how you handle commitments, be they personal, professional, or emotional. When Jupiter begins its retrograde in Cancer on November 11, 2025, it will be transiting your 7th house, which governs marriage, partnerships, and public interactions. Since Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, this transit brings powerful lessons in understanding emotional maturity within relationships. Its retrograde motion suggests that these lessons will be internalized rather than outwardly expressed. It may prompt you to reevaluate how much you give and receive in your partnerships, and whether your emotional needs are being fulfilled. There could be a temporary distance or introspection between you and your partner, as both may be rethinking shared responsibilities and long-term goals. For some, it could mean rekindling an old connection, while for others, it's about resolving misunderstandings through emotional intelligence rather than argument. Because Jupiter rules your 12th house, this period also connects relationships with spiritual and karmic dimensions. Some partnerships may feel destined or carry lessons from past lives. You may find yourself forgiving old hurts, or realizing how emotional baggage has shaped your expectations in love. Those in business or professional partnerships may revisit agreements, collaborations, or contracts to ensure fairness and long-term sustainability. Retrograde Jupiter teaches patience and introspection. It's not about quick results but about aligning actions with deeper truth. You'll become more aware of what balance and mutual respect mean to you in partnerships, and this understanding will guide your choices moving forward. From its position in Cancer, Jupiter casts its aspects on Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces, your 11th, 1st, and 3rd houses respectively. The aspect on Scorpio highlights gains, friendships, and networking, bringing support from influential people or reconnecting you with long-lost friends. Since Jupiter is retrograde, some of these alliances may need redefinition or emotional distance before clarity emerges. The aspect on your 1st house, Capricorn, increases your confidence but in a reflective way. You may feel the need to redefine your goals, appearance, or overall approach to life. The aspect on Pisces, your 3rd house, enhances your communication, writing, and courage, helping you express your thoughts with more empathy and grace. Saturn, your chart ruler, is retrograding in Pisces during this period and turns direct on November 28, 2025. Its interaction with Jupiter's aspect can make you highly introspective, urging you to re-examine your thought patterns and communication style. You'll find yourself drawn toward expressing truth, but with maturity and depth. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, entering your 6th house of work, health, service, and daily routines. This shift marks a transition from emotional introspection to practical problem solving. The focus moves toward how you handle responsibilities, competition, and health matters. The 6th house is where Jupiter's expansive energy gets challenged, as it represents areas that require discipline and humility. During this retrograde, you may need to revisit old workplace issues, manage delays in projects, or deal with coworkers who test your patience. Jupiter's presence in this house, though retrograde, brings wisdom to handle challenges with diplomacy rather than confrontation. You may analyze your habits, rethink your work strategy, or decide to serve others in a more meaningful way. Since Jupiter rules your 12th and 3rd houses, its transit here connects service with communication and spiritual awareness. You may feel drawn toward helping others through teaching, counseling, or creative writing. Because it's retrograde, this is a time for self-improvement rather than external expansion. You might question whether your daily routine supports your physical and mental well-being. Health-wise, retrograde Jupiter in the 6th house may bring attention to digestion, stress, or imbalanced lifestyles, issues that can be resolved through conscious effort. The key lesson here is to take responsibility for your well-being and avoid neglecting small issues that could grow over time. From Gemini, Jupiter will aspect Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius, your 10th, 12th, and 2nd houses. The aspect on Libra influences your career and public life, where you may reassess your professional goals or workplace relationships. The aspect on Sagittarius brings spiritual contemplation, dreams, and the need for inner peace. Meanwhile, Jupiter's aspect on Aquarius enhances your financial judgment and family matters, encouraging a balanced approach toward material and emotional needs. This combination suggests that even as you focus on work and service, the broader theme of your life revolves around integrating purpose, faith, and emotional growth into your practical world. With Rahu in your 2nd house of finances and speech, your desire to expand wealth and improve status may be strong. Jupiter's retrograde motion serves as a reminder to act with integrity and avoid impulsive financial decisions. You might feel tempted to take bold steps or invest in new ventures, but careful analysis will prevent future regrets. When Jupiter turns direct in Gemini on March 11, 2026, clarity begins to replace confusion. The retrograde months may have revealed hidden flaws in your approach to work or relationships, and now you can address them effectively. Your confidence returns, and professional matters start progressing again. If there were health or routine issues, you'll notice improvement as your discipline strengthens. The direct motion also supports smoother communication with colleagues and superiors. Since Saturn in Pisces is direct by this time, your mental focus deepens, and your words carry more weight. This is an excellent time for writing, learning, or launching communication-based projects. Spiritually, you'll feel more aligned with your higher self, as Jupiter's direct motion restores faith in your inner guidance. Finally, when Jupiter re-enters Cancer on June 2, 2026, and resumes direct motion in your 7th house, the themes of relationships, harmony, and emotional stability return with greater strength and maturity. What you learned during the retrograde, about cooperation, patience, and understanding, now finds expression in real-world scenarios. Partnerships become more balanced, and you'll feel ready to commit to shared goals. Married individuals can experience renewed affection and understanding, while singles may attract partners with emotional depth and wisdom. Business partnerships that survived earlier tests now stabilize, leading to fruitful collaborations. The combination of Jupiter's blessings and Saturn's discipline helps you achieve practical success rooted in integrity. Financial matters improve steadily, and you may find opportunities for long-term growth through teamwork and consistent effort. By the end of this cycle, you'll emerge with a clearer understanding of how to balance service with self-care, logic with empathy, and material success with spiritual growth. For Aquarius, Jupiter governs the 11th and 2nd houses, representing wealth, gains, speech, family, and social networks. Its retrograde journey between November 2025 and June 2026 will activate your 6th and 5th houses, bringing a deep transformation in how you manage your responsibilities, work-life balance, and emotional satisfaction. This period will push you to refine your approach towards service, health, creativity, and financial stability. Because Jupiter will be moving between the signs of Cancer and Gemini, water and air, this transit will weave together emotional intelligence with intellectual growth. It's a time to rediscover balance between mental clarity and emotional well-being while handling the practical realities of life. When Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer on November 11, 2025, it will influence your 6th house, the area of work, service, health, and competition. Jupiter's exaltation here can be both empowering and testing. On one hand, it gives immense capacity to handle challenges with wisdom and faith. You may find yourself stepping into leadership roles at work or helping others navigate problems through your experience. On the other hand, the retrograde motion means that Jupiter's expansive energy is turned inward. Instead of external recognition, this is a time when you must focus on improving efficiency, correcting mistakes, and refining your work ethics. You may revisit old responsibilities, health concerns, or unresolved conflicts in the workplace. It's a good time to analyze whether your daily habits and service-oriented activities truly align with your long-term vision. Since Jupiter rules your 2nd and 11th houses, both connected to wealth and gains, its presence in the 6th house can bring financial lessons tied to your effort and discipline. You might need to work harder than usual to see results, or you may be repaying old debts, financial or karmic. Jupiter's exaltation ensures that your efforts, if sincere, will yield long-term benefits. It teaches you the importance of persistence, humility, and ethical work practices. The 6th house also rules health, so retrograde Jupiter can reveal areas of imbalance in your physical, or emotional well-being. This is an excellent period for self-care, detox, and adopting healthier routines that will sustain you in the years ahead. During this retrograde, Jupiter will aspect Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces from Cancer. Its aspect on Scorpio activates your 10th house of career, bringing reflection on your professional direction. You might reconsider your role, responsibilities, or management style. The aspect on Capricorn, your 12th house, asks you to balance work with rest and spiritual grounding. Overworking could lead to exhaustion if you don't maintain boundaries. Meanwhile, Jupiter's aspect on Pisces, your 2nd house, supports financial growth through effort and moral clarity. You may also reconnect with family or handle family-related financial planning more seriously. Because Saturn is transiting your 2nd house in Pisces and turns direct on November 28, 2025, its alignment with Jupiter's aspect creates a practical focus on stability, discipline, and long-term wealth creation. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, shifting the focus from practical duties to intellectual and emotional self-expression. This transition to your 5th house will soften the intense work-related energy and bring a reflective tone to matters of creativity, love, and children. The 5th house governs the heart, intelligence, and joy in life. With Jupiter here in retrograde, you'll be revisiting how you express your ideas and what truly inspires you. You may reconnect with an old hobby, return to studies, or rediscover a creative pursuit that once brought you happiness. For some, it can bring the reappearance of a past love or a need to emotionally review your romantic patterns. Retrograde Jupiter in the 5th house encourages emotional intelligence, helping you understand the deeper motives behind your choices in love and creativity. This phase also highlights your relationship with your children or younger people in your life. If there have been misunderstandings or emotional distance, Jupiter's retrograde will help you rebuild that connection with patience and compassion. Because Jupiter rules your 11th and 2nd houses, both linked with fulfillment and resources, its presence in the 5th house connects wealth and creativity. You might explore new income sources through talent, teaching, or creative projects, though patience is essential while retrograde energy delays full manifestation. Jupiter's aspects from Gemini fall on Libra, 9th house, Sagittarius, 11th house, and Aquarius, your 1st house. The aspect on Libra enhances higher learning, belief systems, and long-distance connections. The aspect on Sagittarius strengthens your friendships and networking opportunities. And its direct aspect on your 1st house boosts your self-confidence, but in a quiet, introspective way. You may gain wisdom about who you are and how you want to grow rather than seeking external validation. Rahu's transit through Aquarius adds another layer of complexity. With Rahu in your 1st house and Jupiter aspecting it from the 5th house, your personal ambitions and social visibility expand, but you must ensure that ego or overconfidence doesn't cloud judgment. Rahu amplifies desire for recognition and success, while Jupiter retrograde reminds you that true confidence comes from self-awareness, not external applause. At the same time, Ketu in Leo, positioned in your 7th house, may cause unpredictability in partnerships or relationships. You may need to balance independence with cooperation, ensuring that personal goals don't create emotional distance from partners or colleagues. When Jupiter turns direct in Gemini on March 11, 2026, clarity gradually returns. The lessons learned during the retrograde, about discipline, emotional intelligence, and authenticity, now begin to materialize. Creative ideas find expression, and your ability to communicate your thoughts strengthens. Students and teachers benefit greatly from this period, as Jupiter's direct motion brings mental focus and enthusiasm for learning. Romantic matters also move forward, especially if misunderstandings or doubts were lingering earlier. You'll feel more optimistic and ready to take constructive action toward your goals. Since Saturn will be steadily moving forward in Pisces by then, the combination of Jupiter's wisdom and Saturn's realism creates a strong foundation for material and emotional progress. On June 2, 2026, Jupiter re-enters Cancer, returning to your 6th house in exaltation, but this time moving direct. This re-entry brings tangible progress in the areas that were being restructured earlier. If you had been facing health or work-related challenges, you now find solutions. Your productivity improves, and you begin to receive recognition for past efforts. Jupiter's direct exaltation strengthens your position in the workplace and helps you overcome competition with grace. Legal matters or conflicts can move toward resolution. This is also a good time to guide others, as your experience during the retrograde makes you more empathetic and wiser. Financially, this phase supports growth through steady work rather than speculation. Since the 2nd and 11th lords are combined in the 6th house, you may build wealth by serving others, offering valuable skills, or working in health, education, or humanitarian fields. By the end of this entire retrograde cycle, Aquarius individuals emerge stronger, wiser, and more balanced. Jupiter's journey between your 5th and 6th houses teaches that true success lies not just in achievement, but in inner harmony and responsible service. You learn that creativity and discipline are not opposites, but complementary forces. The months ahead bring opportunities to refine your craft, strengthen your relationships, and rebuild faith in yourself. For Pisces, Jupiter is both your 1st house lord and the 10th house ruler, a planet that represents destiny, personal growth, wisdom, and your path in life. Being your most auspicious planet, Jupiter's movement has a powerful impact on your personal and professional direction. Between November 2025 and June 2026, Jupiter's retrograde cycle will carry deep lessons and internal transformations as it travels between your 5th house in Cancer, its exaltation sign, and 4th house in Gemini. This period represents a bridge between inner realization and outer accomplishment, guiding you to balance emotional peace, career direction, and your sense of purpose. When Jupiter retrogrades in Cancer on November 11, 2025, it will activate your 5th house, the domain of intelligence, creativity, children, romance, and emotional fulfillment. This exalted Jupiter enhances your intuition, bringing a fertile ground for imagination, inspiration, and heartfelt expression. You may rediscover old creative interests or revisit an incomplete project from the past. Since Jupiter rules your 1st and 10th houses, this transit brings an opportunity to realign your professional goals with your personal ideals. You may begin to ask yourself whether your current career path truly satisfies your soul. The retrograde energy can slow external progress but accelerates inner awareness, helping you reflect on what kind of success feels meaningful to you. For those involved in education, teaching, or counseling, this period strengthens your ability to inspire others, as your words carry deep emotional resonance. Jupiter in the 5th house during retrograde also draws attention to your relationship with children or younger people. You may find yourself revisiting responsibilities related to parenting or mentoring. It could also awaken a strong emotional connection with your inner child, helping you release old disappointments and heal emotional wounds that have limited your joy. Spiritually, this transit supports devotion, meditation, and higher learning, especially since exalted Jupiter in Cancer combines the energies of emotional sensitivity and divine wisdom. Since Jupiter's retrograde motion tends to internalize energy, results may come gradually, after you've done the required inner work. On December 5, 2025, Jupiter retrogrades back into Gemini, your 4th house of home, heart, and emotional foundation. This shift marks a more introspective phase where your attention moves inward, toward your roots, family life, and personal security. Jupiter in the 4th house brings a deep need for emotional anchoring and domestic peace. Retrograde motion here may reveal issues that have been brewing quietly, perhaps related to family communication, real estate, or a feeling of inner restlessness. It's possible that you'll feel torn between external ambitions and internal comfort. The 4th house also connects to your private mind. Jupiter's presence here can expand emotional understanding but may also exaggerate feelings. This is a good time to strengthen your home environment, spend time with family, or revisit your long-term emotional priorities. From Gemini, Jupiter aspects your 8th, 10th, and 12th houses, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius respectively. The 10th house aspect supports career reevaluation. You may reconsider your role, leadership style, or purpose in your work life. Jupiter's influence will encourage you to make professional decisions aligned with integrity rather than convenience. The 8th house aspect deepens your psychological insight, helping you uncover hidden motives or fears that hold you back. Financially, this can bring opportunities related to insurance, inheritance, or shared assets, though patience is required. The 12th house aspect awakens a spiritual yearning. You might seek solitude or turn to meditation for clarity. March 11, 2026 marks a turning point as Jupiter turns direct in Gemini. This is when the lessons learned during the retrograde begin to bear fruit. Matters related to your home, education, property, and emotional stability begin to move forward. If you were uncertain about career direction, clarity emerges now. Projects that were paused or uncertain earlier may start gaining momentum. You could make progress in purchasing or renovating property, or solidifying your domestic base. Emotionally, you feel more grounded and confident in your decisions. Since Jupiter is both your first and 10th lord, this direct motion often brings renewed motivation and faith in your path. Meanwhile, Saturn is transiting Pisces, your first house, and turns direct on November 28, 2025. This combination of Saturn in your first house and Jupiter retrograding between your 5th and 4th houses can feel like a tug-of-war between responsibility and inspiration. Saturn grounds you, asking for patience and discipline, while Jupiter in exaltation lifts your spirit toward creativity and emotional wisdom. When both planets gradually move in harmony after November, they help you integrate maturity with idealism. During this same period, Rahu in Aquarius activates your 12th house, and Ketu transits Leo in your 6th house. This nodal axis adds a karmic undertone to Jupiter's movement. Rahu in the 12th amplifies spiritual seeking, travel, or detachment from old attachments, while Ketu in the 6th helps release old patterns of conflict or overwork. Jupiter's transit will help you see how your efforts, service, and faith connect with your inner peace. It's important to manage your health and rest during this period, as Rahu Ketu can disturb routines if balance is ignored. When Jupiter re-enters Cancer on June 2, 2026, the energy becomes significantly more optimistic. Jupiter's exaltation in your 5th house restores emotional vitality, creative enthusiasm, and a sense of joy in life. You may feel ready to express yourself fully after months of introspection. The 5th house governs intelligence, love, and self-expression, so this is a wonderful time for romantic life, education, or creative ventures. If you have children, their progress or happiness may bring pride. Jupiter's aspects from Cancer to Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces will create a strong water trine harmony that supports deep emotional and spiritual growth. This configuration enhances intuition, healing ability, and compassionate leadership. Career-wise, you might find inspiration returning after the retrograde. Projects that felt delayed or uncertain earlier now pick up speed, often bringing recognition or support from influential people. The 10th Lord in exaltation signifies opportunities to rise in your field through knowledge, empathy, and creativity rather than aggression. Relationships also improve, as you express warmth and understanding more naturally. Jupiter's influence strengthens your capacity to teach, guide, or nurture others, whether in your profession or personal life. By the time Jupiter moves steadily forward in Cancer after June 2026, you'll have completed a major cycle of emotional integration and personal renewal. The retrograde journey between the 4th and 5th houses teaches that real success begins within, from emotional peace, spiritual clarity, and faith in your own abilities. Whether in career, relationships, or personal life, you emerge from this period more centered, compassionate, and wise, ready to use your gifts not just for achievement, but for meaningful contribution to others. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic Astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions, and outcomes will vary depending on your individual birth chart. The influence of transits is deeply shaped by your ongoing dasha periods and the specific placement of planets in your natal chart. What may be a time of progress for one person could mark a period of reflection or challenge for another. This is why it's essential to interpret transits within the context of your unique chart. If you're seeking a more personalized understanding of how current transits may impact you, or if you have specific questions about your birth chart, feel free to reach out to us. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others who may benefit, and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you for watching. We look forward to continuing to share deeper astrological insights with you. Until next time, stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.